I'm Rebecca. I'm your Studio NPL photography mentor, and today we're going to do something fun with macro photography. This is called oil and water photography, and we're going to use a macro lens, and it's going to be a great opportunity to make some really cool images. So I'm actually going to use my cell phone today. You could use your camera with a macro lens, or you could use your cell phone and just add a macro lens to it. This is a macro lens I have on my phone. There's several different types of little lenses you can get for your cell phone. So if you have one of those, this will be a great chance to use it. So to do the oil and water photography, you're going to need just a couple things. A glass bowl, you're going to need some water. I'm going to use coconut oil today, and the reason why is because you're going to have to melt it, and it slowly starts to get solid again while you're doing your pictures, and it can do a really neat variety of images. So that's kind of fun to let that do what it does while you're taking pictures. You're also going to need some different types of fabric. So if you have some scarves, a great chance to pull them out. If you have just some fabric laying around, I'm going to use, for this demonstration, I have a scarf here from a Jane Austen novel. So I'm actually going to do it with some words today. So that'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to kick off. What I'm going to have to do is melt the coconut oil. So I'm going to run to the microwave behind me and melt just about 1/4 cup. It doesn't really matter how much. It's just that once you put the oil in, you can't take it out. So start off with a little amount and add to more. The first thing you will need to do is put the water in. Again, this does not matter how much, however much water you want. So you just kind of pour it in, then you're going to be adding the oil, but I'm going to go heat the oil up. Remember, it does solidify pretty quickly, so you want to make sure you're ready to shoot before you melt your oil and add it. Okay, so I've set up our bowl here. I have the water in it. I'm using the scarf with the words, and then I have melted my coconut oil. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. I do have a spoon as well to kind of mix it. So we're going to pour it in, and then you can see pretty much a giant bubble right there. And then I'm going to kind of just go like this. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it out after you put it in. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I have my camera now, and I'm going to go up close. You want to make sure you don't drop your phone in the water and oil, so keep that in mind. Be very aware of that. You're going to need to get pretty close to get the macro shot. And these bubbles are moving around, so I'm going to try to get the bubble when it gets into a word, just because I'm using the word scarf today. And I have some bubbles that are large bubbles with small bubbles all around them. That is a great one to get a whole bunch of letters all mixed in there. And if you need to mix it back up, you can. Remember, being the coconut oil, it is going to start to solidify on us. So you want to try to get as many shots before it starts to change as possible. The really cool thing, if you're using a scarf with lots of color and energy in it, you'll be able to get the reflection of those in your pictures, in these bubbles. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, this particular bowl that I'm using, right in the middle of it, has the name of the bowl right across. So I don't want that in my picture. And then there's a line of words on this side too. So I don't want those in my photographs. So you kind of want to always be aware of where the bubbles are when you're taking these pictures. And you're trying to get whatever exciting image you can find. This is kind of cool to do outside too. You can use the sunlight to get some extra reflections in there if you'd like, or you can also light it. I'm just using the kitchen lighting right now. And if you can tell right here, it's starting to get some scratchy lines, and what that is the oil is going solid on us again. But that can actually add a really cool effect to your image, especially if you can get it to go over like a special word that you're trying to communicate in your design. And remember, you want to get nice and close because that's what the macro lens does. You can also zoom in. See how I zoomed in here with my camera? That gets some really cool. You can do that in post too, remember? If you're like, oh, I didn't thought about that and I already took half of my pictures, then you can just do that in post. I really like the letters reflecting in these bubbles. But I've done it with all different types of designs before, and I'll show you some of those pictures so you can see how it would look with just colorful scarves and fabric. So I hope you'll take a moment and just kind of play around with this. If you do make some images this way, please go ahead and upload them, and you can tag Studio NPL because I'd love to see what you're doing with your macro photography. And we'll have some more workshops in the future right here on Studio NPL.
Hey guys, it's your Studio NPL music mentor Rhett. Today I'm going to show you how to tune a guitar to standard and DAG-GAD. Now standard from the little string to the big string is E, B, G, D, A, E. There's an acronym that people use for that, or yes, there's an extended wording to remember that. That's every boy gets dessert after eating. E, B, G, D, A, E. From the small string up to the big string. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Again, this is going to be standard tuning, and then we'll do DAD-GAD, which is just an acronym for the tuning, D-A-D-G-A-D. It lets you play more open sounding stuff so you can really just strum and have a lot more fun. So I'm going to rotate the camera around so you can have a good angle on the tuner and show you how that works, how tuning works. Now most tuners are the same. It's, this is one type. Most of them work about the same. So just make sure I get it right. Now, when you hit the note, you see a red line. I've detuned the guitar a little bit on purpose, so I know that this note is flat. It cut off, but it's gonna come back. Alright. So when I hit this, it shows me that red line is under that green point right there. So watch what happens when I turn this key to tighten the string. And depending how you string your guitar, the direction that you twist the key will differentiate, basically, whether it goes sharp or flat. So you kind of just feel that out. Twist the key and see which way the note goes. If it goes down and you're trying to go up, twist the other way. So I'm flat. How about that? Now, with a lot of clip-on electric tuners, you might see that when you first hit the note, it kind of jumps and then settles. Wherever the little indicator settles, that's what note it is. Because basically it's jumping because the string stretches when you hit it. But it quickly goes back to the normal tension. So it helps to kind of not too hard hit the note when you're looking to tune. So ease on. There you go. It doesn't have to be perfect on the clip-on. It's just, it goes off of vibration, so that stuff can get a little tricky. Now, if you're a little bit sharp, like see that the red line is a little bit higher than the green dot right there. I'm a little bit sharp. So what you really want to do when you're sharp, because the way the tension system works, you want to detune, go under, and then come up. Tune up to the note always on the guitar. It helps with the tension. Does that make sense? I just went down below and went back up right to the note. I didn't go past it. That's flat. Try not to block you. That's a little sharp, so I'm going to detune under. Now I'm going to try it again. Just inching. There we go. We're good. We're on there. So sometimes when you're tuning a guitar and you're twisting up, but you're not really getting anything, you might get a kink, and then it just jets sharp really quick. That's okay. Just detune and go back up. So let's try B. I detuned this one pretty good. There you go. So, and sometimes when as you're tuning, you might have to just go back and double check, because you got the earlier ones have come out of tune because you've been changing tensions on the other side. So we'll go back for another check. Beautiful. So that's standard. Now let's do dadgad. Dadgad means from the bottom it goes D, A, D, G, A, D from the bottom. But I like to tune from the top because you're changing the strongest string, so you're giving the greatest change of tension with the bigger strings. So start with the bigger strings, even though the tuning descriptions oftentimes reference the smallest string first. So here goes dadgad. I gotta go down to D. We're on A. That's already A. That's already D. That's already G. You guys are like, he's not doing very much. Here we go. We're gonna go down to A. I know I just tuned down to the note. I said go from flat, but I'm just getting the note there, and then I'll go back and double check. See how I'm a little flat? I fixed it already, but I was a little flat. That's dadgad. D-A-D-G-A-D. So, alright, a couple things you might have noticed as I go letter to letter. Like, let's go back up to E on the big string from D. So right now it's D. Watch when I go up. See how it's got D with a dot beside it on the tuner? That means it's sharp. The dot beside the letter. Tuners are going to have some type of indicator that says that your note is sharp, because while there's a D, there's also a D sharp. So that's just one thing to know. If it shows a dot, that means it's sharp. So I'm on D sharp right now. Half step up should mean E. There you go. That's pretty much all you need to know about tuning a guitar for standard or dadgad. This is crucial for playing guitar. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it sooner, but it's not the most fun thing. And when you're learning, it doesn't matter as long as it's in there, as long as it's somewhere in there. But again, this is how you do it. I think I've covered everything. Enjoy yourselves.
I'm never afraid this city will forget to breathe. The silence downtown rings out like tornado sirens, but if you peer into our windows, the city keeps singing. Disaster after disaster makes most broken. It made us artists. Our music is an iron lung. 200 years and the city still feels young because there will always be more children, more lyrics, more hope that tomorrow brings something luminescent. The thing about people is we all exist with as many faces as friends. So when the storm comes, we empty the shelves. We shield the children. We watch our backs because the storm will make you see yourself. When the storm comes, you cannot lock the door. When the sickness comes, you can't forget anymore. Disasters make us remember the things we fight for, live for. Like when your sister says she loves you, you fight to believe her. You never realize how fast disaster can show you the worst side of humanity, or how it can show you beauty. Somehow, this quarantine has given me sanctuary. It is saving the only light left, the way the clap of our hands keep time with our syncopated heartbeats. I call it daylight savings time. My city is its bluegrass rhythm. And I know that tomorrow will sing, because every choice we make in darker times splinters into different timelines. There's always a timeline where we come together as a community. And there's always a timeline where we fall apart. There is never a more resounding still than the moment when reality splits. In the hush, another world is born. In the moments when the wind is prepped to decimate millions of years of evolution in a single breath, there may not be silence, but there is stillness. I imagine a diametric mind. The shallow echo of a heartbeat in eardrums may remind us that we are alive. It may remind us how on a different timeline, any place could be in the eye of the storm. We are a city that has taken hits, and we have the right to mourn. May it remind us that there is more. We may have run out of clarity, but Nashville will never run out of possibility.
This is a really cool piece of grass. I wonder what it would look like really up close. What is this? This looks like a tiny microscope you can clamp on to your cell phone camera. This is really cool. Let's see what we can look at through this. You can find a tiny clip-on microscope like this online for under $10. It's a really cool way to see the world around you on a different level. To use this tiny microscope, clip it onto your phone's camera, like this. And you can zoom in just a little bit, and then get it close to what you want to look at. And see the world on a completely different level. That is cool. Let's see what else we can find. That was a really cool piece of grass. Let's see what this piece of tree bark with some lichen on it looks like. Wow, that lichen looks really cool. I would have never expected it to look like that close up. That was cool. Let's check out what this flower from a clover looks like. Wow, this is beautiful. No wonder bees love this. What a beautiful flower close up. I wonder what this fabric looks like. Wow, it's so zoomed in, you can see the weave of the fabric. So you can get a microscope like this for under $10, and this is a really awesome way to see the world on a microscopic level. So if you do find one of these, be sure to send us what you've been checking out and tag us at Studio NPL. Thanks!
Bye.